and good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on Nifty Now, the show that promises to spot the hot movers and shakers today in trade. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets continue to drift lower for the 10th straight session on the back of weak global cues. China has imposed retaliatory tariffs, and across the globe, it's it's a scenario of doom. The US markets are down, Asian markets are down, India is following suit. Though mind you, we're just lower by 0.2% as we speak. But for now, let's keep it to individual stocks then and talk about and bring on board Soumya Sharma, ET Now's research analyst. We have with us Kunal Bothra as well on the technicals, and Himen Kaparia of KR Choksi Securities as well joins in. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. Soumya, let's go across to you first. Vodafone Idea, there was a lot of resilience witnessed in the stock price yesterday, green on the screen, but today, after the numbers, it continues to decline.
Well, yes, in fact, the revenues are pretty much flat. They stabilized, but average daily revenues also improved 2.3% on a quarterly basis. However, the company still suffered loss, although it has reduced from previous quarter, but the net loss was at around 4,882 crore rupees. As far as margins are concerned, they improved from 9.7 to 15.2% on expectations of merger benefits that they might get from here on. But at the same time, CLSA have said that the revenues, according to them, were a miss, and retaining a sell rating with a target price of 12 per share. In fact, they have reduced their target price from 27 to 12.5 per share, and this is what's keeping the stock down in red to losing close to about 4.25%.
Okay, you're raising yesterday's gains. That's Vodafone Idea back at 13.8. Kunal, you're flagging off Wipro, and technology, while it's been a spot of green, what is it particularly that's causing you to flag off Wipro?
So I think today I've focused more on the Nifty IT space, Mubina, and a lot of these stocks have shown signs of reversals, and these could be very critical reversals because it could lead to a trending move on the downside. So Wipro, case in point, the first stock in the space picked up. The stock has confirmed a break of its key support. 285, 295 was the support zone for Wipro for last few days, but it's broken the 295 support, which is where you've seen the fall getting a bit more aggravated. I believe the stock could fall a bit more. 275 is the 200-day moving average of the 50-day moving average. I think the stock should correct towards those levels over the next few days.
Okay, Wipro 1.6% down today in trade. However, among the top Nifty gainers is also ITC. It's gaining approximately 1.3% despite the fall in the market. And this is after brokerages seem to be maintaining their optimistic stance after the company has delivered its fourth quarter results. Deutsche Bank has a buy target at 375 rupees as they believe that, yes, this time around margins were a bit tepid, but the improvement will follow shortly according to them. Credit Suisse has an outperform target at 370 rupees as they seem to be pretty pleased with the fact that the cigarette business has continued to improve its trajectory. So ITC, one of those few Nifty gainers today in trade, 293 on the cards over there. Himen, Vedanta, meantime, the stock price has today shown a nice 3% gain, and this is coming in after very long. Vedanta has been for a very long time in the red, under pressure. What would you make of this bounce?
Well, Mubina, frankly speaking, the entire metals pack has been under pressure, deeply oversold. I'm not saying there's a trend reversal, but a minor reversal of sorts. The stock is oversold, Mubina. Downside does appear limited, and one will get the feeling that a recovery is underway after a protracted decline. So, for me, it is a buy. Stop loss 153, target 164. A corrective recovery is underway, Mubina.
All right, moving on to the next stock. Soumya, how are the numbers for Godrej Industries?
Well, talking about Godrej Industries, it was a mixed set of numbers with the PAT actually was up, saw a growth of over 137% to nearly 424 crore rupees. Well, this was on account of an exceptional gain that the company reported of approximately 88.3 crore rupees. Well, this was on re-measurement of fair value of stake in one of its arm. As far as top line is concerned, that saw a growth of over 48.3%. However, the stock is still reacting negatively given probably Street was estimating better set of numbers when it came to Godrej Industries.
All right, Kunal, you have Apollo Tyres on your radar?
Yes, Mubina, and the stock from 300 levels, I think 7, 8, 9 months back, I think has now corrected to sub 200 levels, and the selling spree is just not getting abated. Even though it's more of a consistent selling, but the stock has been making new lows. there was this volume or big volume tick 2 or 3 trading sessions back, and the expectation was that maybe the stock could have formed a short-term bottom at that 185, 190 zone, but it's broken even those levels as well. So I believe that the stock could be in for more correction from current levels. Long traders should watch out for the stock, not buying the stock at current levels, but I believe I think the stock can dip another 8 to 10 rupees over the next couple of days.
Okay, so Kunal is a bit wary about Apollo Tyres and the trend he's seeing in that stock. Jet Airways, biggest loser on the broader market, the Nifty 500, it's 9.3% gone. Sources say that the lenders are now deliberating a second round of bids for Jet, because do remember, the bid received from Etihad, the conditional one, was unviable according to the lenders, and they're going to be meeting again to discuss the future course of action as well. So once again, the case drags on. It's almost like kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be another round of bids for Jet Airways. More delay before the airline can see some cash. Well, let's move on to a stock that certainly has been volatile. And how? Himen, yesterday we saw that big whipsaw reaction in the stock price of Sun Pharma. Today, interestingly, it's 3% higher. What would you advise traders to do amidst all of this volatility in the stock price?
Well, frankly speaking, Mubina, I don't think there's much you can do about it. We saw huge volumes in the cash market yesterday, almost 2.3 crore shares in the cash market, not too much of activity in the F&O segment. So I would say a hold with the stop loss of 398, which was yesterday's closing, for a target of 424. A recovery of sorts seems to be underway, and I have a feeling that the panic sell-off that we saw yesterday seems to have subsided for the time being.
Well, yeah, that seems to have subsided. The volatility seems to have subsided. Soumya, Muthoot Finance, good set of numbers?
Pretty much mixed set of numbers. As far as PAT is concerned, it was flat at around 511.5 crore rupees. The NII saw a growth of over 3.4%. As far as margins is concerned, we saw a good improvement on a sequential basis to margins improving from 13.92 to actually 14.68%. On the AUM growth front, the growth was pretty impressive, coming in from the microfinance and the home finance subsidiaries. But as far as the asset quality is concerned, it was a bit of a disappointment out there, with the GNPA ratio standing at 2.27 versus 1.96% in the previous quarter. So slight disappointment as far as asset quality is concerned, but good AUM growth.
Okay, so that's Muthoot Finance, and 4.6% higher despite the asset quality numbers. So I think overall the street is reading quite positively into it. Kunal, let's talk about TCS after Wipro. This is another IT stock you're flagging off.
So Mubina, and the charts are a bit weaker for TCS. So it's a classical technical setup. Now I think 1 week back the stock formed or rather opened with a gap down. That gap down has now created a sell gap or an up gap, and that gap has not been filled by the stock price. The second point is that the stock has been taking resistance at exactly the 50-day moving average in the last 4-5 days. So even if the stock was pulling back from 2150 levels to 2180, the pullback was restricted towards that 50-day moving average, and now you've seen the stock coming back and breaking its key support level. So this is a classical setup where the trend reverses for many of these stocks, which is why I flagged off the Nifty IT space, and especially TCS at this hour. I believe the stock could correct another 80 to 100 rupees from current levels. Approximately 2000 could be an immediate target for the stock price.
All right, so TCS down 2.2% at the day's low. Just Dial, meantime, has come out with a pretty decent set of numbers in the fourth quarter. We have the revenues ticking higher by 2.4%. Profits has grown 9.2%. But for the first time ever, paid listings has actually crossed 5 lakhs. So that is a positive. Overall, the numbers have been good. The outlook as well is quite positive. And the overall listings grew 3.6% sequentially to 25.7 million. The stock price, interestingly, has completely given up all of those gains and is now, in fact, just about trading in the red. Himen, it's an interesting move seen in a blue star. It's been a slow and steady mover, and despite the fall in the market in the last 10 days, this one has stayed steady and is one of those few, stocks that's actually managed to deliver a gain.
Well, Mubina, it is in an intermediate uptrend. A longer-term correction is still underway and it hasn't exhausted, but distinctly in an intermediate uptrend, higher top, higher bottom on the monthly chart. So stock seems stable enough. We've seen significant volume over the last 2 weeks, which is the highest in the last year. So a hold with a stop loss of 705, and if it continues what it is doing today, it would also mean technically an upward key reversal from our daily chart today. So some more upside possible.
All right, so that's blue stuff for you. Soumya, what's the news on DHFL?
Well, the news is not positive at all. In fact, Crystal has downgraded DHFL's papers worth over 850 crore rupees. They've downgraded it from A4 positive to A3 positive with rating watch negative implications. Well, they've given the reason that the more than expected the company's liquidity is actually a concern for them. However, the stock today opened in red but has now managed to trade in green and is gaining by over 1.5%.
All right, well, yeah, complete reversal in the stock price of DHFL as well. Aavas Financiers is a stock we want to flag off. One reason, of course, being that the stock has been added to the MSCI small cap index. But additionally, it's interesting to see that it has snapped that 3 days of losses that we were seeing on the stock. Do remember, it's we've been seeing a lot of green on the screen for Aavas for some time now. Yes, last 3 days, of course, were a bit sluggish. But yeah, even with this level of 1374 rupees, it puts the stock price only 3% away from record highs. So that's an interesting move in this small financier. Soumya, SRF, how were the numbers?
Well, talking about SRF, the numbers are pretty much good. Revenue was up by 28.5%. Even PAT saw a surge of over 54%. Talking about the EBITDA front, we saw a growth of over 39.3%. Even the margins improved from 17.3% to 18.8% during this quarter compared to the last year. Apart from this, the company was also news for selling its energy plastic business to Dutch firm DSM. So overall, the stock gaining by over 0.76%.
Okay, well, we'll take a very quick break right here on the show. Do come right back for more news and updates.